Okay, so we got the roughing. So let's go ahead and talk about the finishing around the perimeter. So we're going to use 3-axis, and we're going to use parallel finishing, a standard finishing operation in the standard configuration. And we're going to, for this application, since we're doing these fillets around in this contoured area, we're going to be using the Part Surfaces tab, and we're going to be using the contact extent condition. This is a new option in 2024, which is going to be making finishing these outer fillets a lot better. So the tool is going to actually complete this cut all the way down to the tangent line. So if you recall from our previous versions, the tool in parallel finishing would stop when the tool aligned itself with this boundary, so it wouldn't go all the way down. So in this case, we have this new option that takes care of that. So we're going to use this contact condition. We're going to go ahead and select these surfaces. We'll just start working our way around. Oh, sorry about that. Not sure why it didn't pick that. Okay, gotta keep going then. Okay, just work our way around here. And we want to do this as well. Okay, so we got all of our surfaces selected. And for the tool, we're going to be using the 3/4 inch ball mill. And for cut parameters, 1/1000th tolerance, mixed cut direction. All these we're just going to use the default parameters. We'll use a tighter step over. We're not going to use as tight a step over that you would normally use for a good surface finish. We're just going to do a step over that makes it relatively quick to generate. So let's just put, say, 10,000. And for the Z containment, we need to not do anything there. We don't really need to do anything here. We will fit arcs. Okay, and let's generate that. This will take, it will take a little bit longer because we're calculating this contact condition around the boundaries. So normally the parallel finishing is relatively quick, but this time it's going to take a little bit longer to calculate that. And you might be able to hear the computer fan running to cool that processor up. Again, any questions, put them in the questions bar. So it looks like we got done here. So here is the parallel finishing. And what is really cool is that it covered the entire fillet all the way down to this contact point. So in the previous versions, the tool would stop when the toolpath would stop when the tool was aligned vertically with this boundary, which means it didn't go all the way down. So there's some other things you had to do to make it go all the way down. 2024, you don't need to worry about that. Just use the contact condition and the toolpath will stop when the full diameter of the cutter touches this boundary. That's cool. So let's go ahead and parallel finishing. It's always good method to use two of the parallel finishings, one cutting in one direction and one cutting 90 degrees from that. So we're just going to clone this. We're going to go back in and all we're going to do is change the cut angle to 90 degrees and we'll generate that. Any good questions? Again, just put them in the questions bar. Okay, so there's our parallel finishing in the 90-degree direction. Let's go ahead and simulate this. Let's turn that off. And so there's our last roughing operation. Let's go ahead and play that. So there's our parallel finishing, working its way around. Okay, so there's our parallel finishing in one direction, and we're just going to do this, play that, and we'll just pause this and go to the end. Okay, so now we have the top completely finished. Okay, so now comes the interesting part, and also the curve machining as well, just to clean up the detail areas. Now I really like, in the, parallel finishing, I really like the fact, and this is in the standard configuration, I really like the fact that it calculates the boundary where to stop. That's a big, if you're doing any kind of mold machining, cavity machining, you're really going to say, oh, right, I'm glad we got this. So it's really going to help out a lot. But you don't need to do that in the Pro if you don't want to.